What's up, everybody? This is our big game breakdown for Super Tuesday of college basketball. My name is Logan. With me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
What's up, old son?
It's Monday night, 7:30 p.m. The lines have just come out. We told you we're going to get back in the studio, the two of us, for the Saturday and Tuesday slates of games. Every day in between, I'm going to be giving you my individual best bet of the day. Saturday was a very good day. We gave you 6 plays. We go 5-1. I had a 4-0 sweep of the board. I'm currently on a 7-0 streak. We're trying to make it 8 tonight with Baylor minus 1.5. That will tip in about an hour and a half. So by the time you get around to listen to this, that one will already be completed or possibly still in play. But a very good day. We're going to try to do it again. Tuesday and Saturday, the biggest slates of games, like I said. So that's why we're trying to get in early before the lines move. We're going to touch on what happened Saturday and try to just recap the biggest events. Obviously, the main one was Auburn, Alabama. Auburn won 94-85. They were getting points, so we cashed a winner there. They're clearly the superior team, but you got to respect the way that Alabama responded in that second half. You were on the under. It was looking great at halftime. Shots were not falling for Alabama from the outside. They made a couple key shots to get back into it and then made it a game. But for every body shot that Bama hit Auburn with, they responded every single time and did not allow Alabama to kind of run away with that momentum. Do you come away from that? What's your takeaway, I guess? Is it more of an impressive win from Auburn or an impressive response from Bama to not kind of melt in that second half?
I think it's more impressive from Auburn.
Yeah.
Coming off of the weekend before where they dropped the game to Florida at home. Mm-hmm. Another top matchup on the road this time to win convincingly like they did is impressive, I think.
Yeah, and they just have so many guys. When Baker Mazzara goes to the bench, the other guards coming in, the backups, it's like, are a problem. So they're very deep. I think it's clear cut right now that it's Auburn and Duke, the two best teams. So speaking of Duke, they ran Stanford out the building. Stanford kind of held in there for the first 6-7 minutes, and then that was about it from there. Florida with a big win over South Carolina. Vanderbilt had a 17-point lead over Tennessee going into halftime, and then Tennessee responded in a big way in the second half. Wisconsin and Purdue was a 16 versus 7 ranked matchup. Wisconsin 94-84. They beat Purdue
on the road.
No, yeah, on the road. Yeah. Wisconsin's a team that might deserve some respect here. We were also on Arkansas, Texas A&M side and total. This one was interesting. You had Arkansas plus 8.5. They lost by 8. I had the under, which I started doing math. I do math the entire fucking game when I'm on a total. Every game, I'm like, all right. I don't know why in my brain I'm like 4 points per minute is 160 points. So, dude, it's like I'm like Rain Man over there. I'm not even kidding. I hate betting totals because it's just mentally taxing. I can't just sit and watch and be like, all right, we'll see how it happens. I'm like, all right, 6 minutes to go. We need I'm going through every scenario. At halftime, I was like, I'm dead. And then scoring came to a screeching halt. It wasn't even a sweat there down the stretch. So a double winner there. Houston and Arizona. Houston wins by 4 on the road. That defense is the real deal. Arizona really struggled to shoot it from the outside, specifically Caleb Love. Like I said, volume shooter, not the most efficient, which we've known from back when his days at North Carolina. Houston couldn't do much from the outside. They did not shoot it well. They did not shoot it. They did not live up to the percentage that they carried into this game, but they did enough to get it done. And then it really was a late push, too. They were down for the majority of this game. Other than that, Michigan State plus 6. We got to talk, or at least tip the cap to Michigan State. They were down 14 to 16 points for a large part of that first half. They kind of cut it. I think they cut it to single digits at halftime, but the second half, the defensive performance that they put forth in the second half, I think it was 8 minutes or so that they held Illinois scoreless. I texted you, that's almost unbelievable, like legitimately unbelievable to go that long without scoring a point. Michigan State turned it on in that second half. So plus 6, it was looking like it was going to be a sweat. They got into it, and then they won by 14 points. So Texas Tech, I'll mention them just because I got the future bet on them. Obliterated Oklahoma State 93-55. Wish I would have bet it. I don't want to be fucking biased because I love this team. But in hindsight, we probably should have bet it. Kansas lost to Utah. They had to go on the road to Utah. They lost outright. I don't know what's going on with Kansas. Bill Self's going to have his work cut out for him because we're mid-February. The tournament's just around the corner. Kansas is playing their worst basketball at the worst time to do it. Ranked matchup, Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Mississippi State got a 10-point win, 81-71 on the road. Other than that, nothing else really noteworthy happened. That's currently where we stand. And we turn our attention to Tuesday. Super Tuesday. Sounds like we got 5 plays. I think I have 3. Nick has 2. Yeah, we're going to try to get to the window. I'll let you lead it off.
Yeah, both of the tip-offs I'm going with are 8 p.m. tip-offs. The first one you just mentioned at Kansas, going on the road to play BYU. BYU's 2.5-point favorites. You mentioned that Kansas hasn't played well lately. 3-4 in their last 7 games. They haven't won a road game in nearly a month. BYU's the 15th ranked offensive team in schedule-adjusted efficiency. They're the 55th ranked three-point shooting team. 39.1% of their points come from three-point range, 22nd highest in the nation. Kansas, 5th ranked defensive team in schedule-adjusted defensive efficiency. 9th ranked perimeter defense. I think the matchup here favors Kansas a little bit, getting points. You mentioned that they haven't really won a big game in a while. It feels like they kind of need this. I'm going to take Kansas plus 2.5.
I would agree with you. They certainly need it. Their last big win was Iowa State at the start of this month. But they were struggling. I mean, they lost to Baylor before that. But, yeah, 69-52, they blew out an 8th-ranked Iowa State. At least I think they might have been even higher ranked than that at the time. But, yeah, I agree. I like what you're talking about with the stylistically. I think Kansas can have success here. But I hope this is a bounce-back spot for him. So, as somebody who was invested in Kansas, I still hold the ticket. I don't have high hopes for it. My first one's going to be a 6 p.m. tip. Oklahoma going on the road to take on Florida. The AP poll came out. Florida has a number 2 next to their name. Florida's the real deal, offensively and defensively. Currently, they would be a number 1 seed. So, at this point in time, there's no who has what to play for and this and that. Oklahoma has not fared very well once they've hit SEC play. They're 3-9 in conference play. Florida is going to be without Alex Condon, still nursing the ankle injury. They said he's anywhere from 10 to 14 days roughly until he's expected back. That's 11 points and 8 rebounds. Over the last 2-week stretch or so, Florida's shooting the ball really, really well. They are 43% from deep. The absence of Alex Condon has allowed Denzel Aberdeen to kind of get more minutes and get more opportunity. In the last 2 games, he's got 42 points scored, so he's picking up a lot of the slack there. Oklahoma, though, on the other hand, does have the 12th-ranked perimeter defense. Florida has the 3rd-ranked perimeter defense. Florida wants to run. Oklahoma's going to want to slow it down. I'm going to go under 158.5. And I tread lightly there. I think Oklahoma's path to victory is to not get in a track meet with Florida. Oklahoma does not shoot the ball well and has not been shooting the ball well lately. Florida's shooting the lights out of the ball, but I'm going to trust that Oklahoma with the perimeter defense can kind of try to take that away. And the loss of Condon, a big body, and somebody that's very versatile, giving you double-digit points. They've been fine without him so far. But it's a high number here, so I'm going to go under 158.5 as my first play for Tuesday. What is your last one?
South Carolina, LSU. LSU's 3.5-point favorites. They're the 2 worst teams in the otherwise stacked SEC. LSU's 2-10 in SEC play. South Carolina's 0-12. South Carolina hasn't won a game since the end of December. LSU coming off of a win on the road against Oklahoma, who's the 3rd worst SEC team in terms of their schedule record. South Carolina's outside the top 230 in field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and turnover rate on offense. It just seems a lot to ask that South Carolina's going to get their first SEC win on the road. I think LSU's a tick better than them, only laying 3.5, so I'm going to take LSU minus 3.5.
Okay. Yeah, LSU's one of those teams, like, they play hard for McMahon, and I was on them when they played Auburn. They should have covered. It was a late tip, a meaningless tip. That was the reason we didn't cover. They play hard. They play decent defense. They don't shoot it well. But, yeah, every time I see them, they haven't rolled over and died or anything like that. And then reports are that LSU's going to start kind of putting a little more NIL into college basketball and try to throw McMahon a bone here because they have not done him any favors. My second one, 6 p.m. tip again, and then we'll have one more after this. Purdue going on the road to take on Michigan State, two teams that we know well. We were just on Michigan State a couple days ago. This might be walking right into a trap. I might be falling for it, but we're going to take Purdue. We're going to take the plus 3.5. Michigan State, and I'm a believer. Like I said, I'm a huge believer in Tom Izzo. I have been for years. The defense is the real deal. I question the offensive side of the ball because they were struggling. They were struggling until Kohler decided to have a career night, a guy who's averaging like 7 points a game. Jackson Kohler's averaging 8 points a game. He put in 23 points, couldn't miss. Late there down the stretch, into the shot clock, he was throwing up prayers from the corner. They were going in. He was doing everything for them late, and he willed the comeback and then what turned into a dominant win. I don't like the matchup for him with Kaufman-Wren, and I really like Braden Smith, who's been there for a long time now with Purdue. One of the better, if not the best, point guard in the country. I'm going to take Purdue plus 3.5. I'm very aware that we could be walking into a trap here. But I mean, this should be a pick 'em, in my opinion. So
yeah, I agree. I came before the lines got released. You want to take Michigan State. Obviously, they're coming off of a big win on the road. Purdue's the exact opposite, coming off of a double-digit loss at home. Spot screams Purdue here. It seems like too many points.
Yeah, over 3. Yeah, I have to take Purdue. And this is a Michigan State team that's lost 3 out of their last 5. They lost on their home court to Indiana, a team that's your guess is as good as mine where their head's at right now with Woodson, and he's leaving at the end of the year, but they haven't rolled over. They're playing hard too. But Purdue's lost their last 2. It was a 2-point loss against Michigan that, if I remember correctly, as I was watching this game for a little while, they had a lead late, and then Michigan made a push. So, yeah, it just feels Michigan's a really good basketball team too. And I just question the offensive side of the ball for Michigan State. I don't think they're shooting it very well. I think Purdue can kind of pack the lane. And then Braden Smith, I think, is going to have the advantage over some of these guards for Michigan State. So at 3.5 points. And then Kaufman-Wren. I don't know who – you get 2 fouls on Kohler within the first 10 minutes, it's going to be a field day for Kaufman-Wren down low. So, and same could be said for the other side. I get it. But 3.5 points, I think this should be a pick 'em, in my opinion. So I'm going to take Purdue plus 3.5 as my second play for Tuesday. Final play. And I wanted this number to be lower. I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to look very smart or very square this Tuesday. But we're going to lay 18.5 points with Marquette. I really, really, really like the matchup for Marquette. The lines were not out when I was looking into this. I wanted this to be more around the 14.5 range. 18.5 is a little more than I would have liked, but Seton Hall's coming off the upset win over UConn, which I don't know what is going on over there. A huge win for a team that's not good at all. 293rd offense per KenPom. Marquette struggles when they play size. Seton Hall doesn't have much size. I think Marquette needs to put their foot on the gas in a big, big way. Seton Hall has the 313th perimeter defense. Marquette is playing great on the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, once they go up against bigs, that's where they can struggle because they just don't have the size to match up. Seton Hall doesn't shoot it well from the outside at all. 278th in three-point field goal percentage. They don't really do much of anything well. I really do think this is a good spot for them. This is a good bounce-back spot. I know a lot of people were on Marquette against DePaul, and they walk through that one. They have not played up to the standard that they could or should, but I think this is a good matchup where they can exploit a lot of the weaknesses of Seton Hall, and they just don't have the bigs down low to give Marquette trouble. So We're going to go minus 18.5 for the final play. Seton Hall, you just beat UConn. You know they fucking celebrated like it was the Super Bowl. So now you got to go turn around. You got to go on the road. You got to play a team that is not living up to expectations down the end of the season, and it's time. It's time for them to turn it on. They went toe-to-toe with UConn. If it wasn't for Solo Ball hitting 3 after 3 after 3 down the stretch, they would have beat UConn. They went toe-to-toe with St. John's, a game in which they got out-rebounded. I think it was 21-5 on the offensive glass. They only lost by 6. And then same thing, went toe-to-toe with Creighton, who pulled away there late down the stretch. The Big East is not as good as it has been in years past, but these are the top teams of the Big East that they're going toe-to-toe with. Now you're playing a bottom feeder. It's time to beat the shit out of somebody. I think they're going to do it on Tuesday. So Marquette minus 18.5 is my final play of the day. You can recap your 2. I'll recap my 3.
I'm going Kansas plus 2.5 and LSU minus 3.5.
Okay, we're starting it off with Oklahoma, Florida under 158.5. Purdue plus 3.5, and then Marquette minus 18.5. Last time we were in here, we had 6 plays. We won 5 of them. We're going to try to do it again. And then go Baylor Bears tonight, minus 1.5. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Nope.
All right, there you go. Like I said, I'll still continuously be giving out my plays throughout the week. We will be back in here Friday night to give you our best bets for the Saturday slate. We're mid-February. The best month of the entire year is right around the corner, so stick around with us. There's more money to be made. Good luck.